Well, hey, you guys, Patdees, snowy days. They're good for listings and sleeping. Some days, yeah, when it's like this, you just don't even want to. You're like, ugh. But here we are in basically the third week of March, and it's been pretty mild here in Pennsylvania as far as the winter, but it just wants to hang on. So February was kind of mild. We really didn't have a whole lot of snow, but we're getting mostly drifting and windy today. So we're going to get into it that I just hit 4,000 listings. Speaking of eBay, and going to talk about the good, the bad, and the stress of it all. So, all right, let's get into it. Well, hey folks, thanks for watching, thanks for joining me and watching this video. I do appreciate the support. You can hit that thumbs up, I greatly appreciate it. People sometimes are like, where, Pat, you haven't done any videos lately. Actually, I did a video the other day, came across on my Instagram or short about the gorilla eating a banana, and I'm like, I'm gonna try it. I'm like, told my wife, here, record this. So that was the last. So what the hell does that have to do with reselling? Nothing. Just, laughing at the moment and having fun and just sharing that laughter with you guys. So, but I just hit 4,000 listings actually last night. And it hasn't been an easy task to go from I think the last 1,000 listings took me about 2 months, and but of course there's been things sold since then. So actually, as I'm recording this right now, I dropped two because I just sold two items. So I have 4,000 listings and over 4,000 items. But and look, in I sell on just I sell. I'm actually working. I passed even a couple days. I've been wanting to kind of make a video, but I'm like, I don't like the force videos, but I've been working on the taxes, and so I sell on Amazon, I sell on eBay, and I have sold on YouTube and whatnot. So putting all those numbers together takes time. I probably should do it more throughout the year, but like everybody, you just that time comes quick, and here we are. It's in March 15th is tomorrow, but for the business. So I filed an extension, so I have time. So I had to make sure I sent in that extension yesterday. Actually, not even leaving the house today. Only got a couple packages to ship out. As far as eBay and actually Amazon, there's no orders today. So, but as you can see on the thumbnail, I took pictures of the totes, and what I've been doing in the last 3 months is I went out and purchased some totes, and I was keeping a lot of stuff, and I still have stuff in, when it's quantity of 25 and it's easy to keep in a cardboard box. But when you start putting different stuff in a cardboard box, and as you go through it, as it moves around, and if you're storing it in the basement, even though I have a dry basement and I run a dehumidifier, the boxes get beat up or the humidity gets to them, so the boxes don't hold up that long. And depending upon the size of the box, right now, like the totes that I got, let me look at it's 64 quart. I have some ones from Target and Sterilite. That's pretty much the brand. I'm looking at some over here. So I've been on top of listing every day, and I have still been listing every day, even though, and I've been stressed out about it, and I'm feeling much better. Actually, I wasn't feeling good for a little while, but I still been listing every day, and I ship every day. I don't really ship Saturdays. Once in a while, if I'm sort of behind, or if I feel like, whoa, there's a lot of orders coming in, especially with Amazon, I'll get up and but I have to get there by like 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning to plus drive a distance to get the packages out. So, but what I'm finding, I like the totes, but I don't like the totes. You think having clear totes you could see the items better, and but you're putting basically what fits in those 2 or 3 cardboard boxes, the size that I was using. You could fit like 2 boxes typically into one of those totes. So yeah, it's less, but still, I mean, like 1, 2, 3, I think I counted last night. I probably have about 32 totes right now, and that's probably over 1,000, or I would say way over 1,000 items. And I get so frustrated because it still happens, and I talk to some of my other YouTube / reselling friends, and sometimes and I hate bringing it up because I get upset about when I can't find something, and typically the item that I can't find is usually from something that has been listed like a year ago, and it always seems to be the one, and I'll have stuff, I'm like, what? Either I condensed something together, or I looked at something, I put it, and then I left and it got thrown in a tote, but the SKU never got filled out. Sometimes that's, I think, what happens. And again, I'm not trying to make up excuses for being, I need to do a better job. But, sometimes what happens is I'll list things, and then, I'll even like 2 o'clock in the morning, I'll lay in bed if I'm restless or not. I'll be on my phone and kind of going through and updating, and then I'll hit list that item, and that's when I sometimes I forget. Oh damn, I forgot I didn't put in the SKU, and it slips my mind. It doesn't happen a lot, but to put things in perspective. Now I don't know how are you guys doing as far as your eBay sales. I see. I hate to ever be that person that comes out to complain that it's slow. For me, it's not slow. It's slow, but it's not slow. What do I mean by that? Well, look, I want to do more. I mean, I know people that do $10,000, $20,000 a month, or I see people like, oh, I just sold $2,000. Then I see people that post, hey, I haven't sold nothing in 4 days. I started listing every day last July 4th. Now, I've been on eBay, 20 some years. 1998, so I've been on part-time and then full-time really the last, I want to say I've been a full-time seller the last 3.5, 4 years, but there was moments there when COVID I was 99% Amazon and really not even focused on eBay. So I've really, the last 9 months have really put a lot into wanting to build up eBay for a variety of reasons, obviously, and it's paid off as far as the growth. Like right now, and I'll share my numbers with you because it's no big deal. It's not bragging. I do these videos obviously not to brag or not to sound conceited or I know it all, because you'll find that watching videos on YouTube about eBay, you'll get all kinds of opinions, and that's exactly what they are a lot of times. Some people would say I wouldn't sell a $5 item. And sometimes I laugh at that because you look at people's store, and the same people that sometimes say that, you'll see them then selling a $5 item. So, overall, you don't. I sell $200 items. I sell $3 items. So I sell a variety of items. My sales so far this year are 9,000. I have 2 screens here, so I'm looking at the left screen here with the right screen, and the camera's in the middle. $9,364, up 585% over last year. So that's good. That's 358 items. $26.16 is the average sales price. So even with having a couple, you say, Pat, what's those $3 items? Those $3 items are things like postcards, baseball cards, things like that. My first time buyers is 286, and my repeat buyers is 9. So the total buyers is 295 with 358 items, sold. My top 5 categories, and I'll list them here, is home and garden, toys and hobbies, clothes, and video games and consoles. But there could be a lot of ties. Yeah, because clothing is 2%. There's a lot of 2%. So clothing, shoes. There's still a lot of even sports cards is 1.5%. So there's a lot of tie categories. So even though I list the top 5, we're talking about the next 10 categories are basically within 0.5% of the top 5 categories. So, and as you can see by the picture on the thumbnail, those totes have a lot of variety of things in it. Is that the way I want to do all the time? No. It's sometimes is a nightmare. All my stuff is bought and paid for. I have very little debt as far as I am using a credit card sometimes, but I don't have a high. I have $300, $500 2 credit cards, and I use those and I pay them. So really, I don't have a lot of debt as far as inventory wise. The only reason I ever want to basically use that is I'm trying to get away from ever using my debit card, just because there's so much scams out there, and it's hard to protect yourself to get your money back and stuff like that, and go through the bank, where credit cards you're just more protected. Sometimes I gotta use my debit card because the money that's in the bank is there, that it's more than $500. So if it's $1,000 purchase, I got to, sometimes when I'm buying pallets, you can drop $1,000 on 2 pallets. So I got to use the debit card. But for the most part, I'm trying not to use that at all, and just stickly to the credit cards. So basically my percentage of what I like to, and I'm being honest, of my frustration level, it's basically 1 probably out of about 150 items. So far this year, I sold 350. So there's been about 3 items so far that is like at the frustration level. I have found everything out of those. So probably I've only had to cancel 1 that I couldn't find a replacement nowhere. And it always seems to be too when you're going through stuff, the following week you always seem to find it. But I typically ship everything within the day that I sell on eBay. I'm rated top rated. My late shipment rate is 2.5%. So there, I have a good rating as far as that, and that makes the difference, because I tell you, I was looking through my tax stuff last year, and I had to pay $225 more for not being top rated. So those sometimes when you have to give a refund or do certain things, it's like, and we'll get upset sometimes, maybe about giving $10. I don't want to get upset about $10. I'd rather get upset about eBay charging me an extra $225 to sell extra on top of their flat platform, because I wasn't at the top rated. And trust me, I try to make sure that I do everything the right way, that I take this, this is my full-time job, and I can beat myself up for not wanting to do things the right way. So I've been listing every day, but last week I honestly listed only about 37/54. What's that mean? I mean, I listed 37 items with 54 quantity. So that's actually low, because I've been typically listing about 125 on average a week for the last 2 months. But I tell you, I was getting stressed out about it, having to, there was some issues I had to deal with at home. My son was in a car accident on his way to work, so that process of going to pick him up and dealing with the insurance company, going to car dealers, and then dealing with, that took a week dealing with that, on top of it, of having to ship out items. And I keep some things even in storage units, but the stuff that I have in storage unit is usually typically the quantity stuff, things that I bought by the pallet. Like I have some vases over there. Now, for me, the place it's on my way to the UPS store, so it's not like I don't run over there, run back home to make $10, $15 on a vase. it's got to be part of the trip. So I will continue to list every day. I have a store that I can list 10,000 items, and I look at it like, wow, I got 6,000 items potential out there. Now you'll get people that will be here like, hey, I have a lot more less items listed than you, and I sell twice as much as you. I get that. You got to keep in mind, even though I would call myself a hobbyist or part-time up until 2.5 years ago, I'm still learning. I know 10 years from now, do I want to have all this assortment of stuff? No, it takes up too much space. I actually love baseball cards. I always have as a kid. I've actually done videos and interviews with tops and different things on my YouTube channel. And I would love to one day be at a point where that hobby will always, but Whatnot is taking a lot of that because that immediate open the pack and the people are doing the breaks and stuff like that. But I wouldn't mind getting to know more players that are modern. A lot of the players that I know are, I was a teenager in the 80s, and, your Mark McGuire's, your Reggie Jackson, my favorite player, Mike Schmidt. I know some of the players now, Mike Trout, Bryce Harper. In getting more involved in cards again, you start to, hear the key people and stuff. But there's people out there that could tell you right now what the rookies are, what the stars look for, what chrome, what's best. Do I know that? No. What I like about it is in a very small space, just like if you're selling coins, you could have one of those totes and have thousands of dollars just in one small box, where maybe my average tote is let's say $200. You know what I mean? So you could take up much less space and just a lot more. You're not moving. I mean, when I think about the space that I'm taking up right now, I'm taking up a lot of space, and for me also, it was, back in the day when I had, let's say, 400 listings, I never usually would enter stuff in the SKU. It wasn't really, I didn't even understand what I was learning still back then even. I just knew in my head where it was. Like, well, those toys are over there. That, is there. That, when you start really getting closer to 1,000, that's when you really, but I would still recommend using the SKU system at 400. I actually wish there was a way, and I was thinking about this last night, and, one of my friends, he said, oh, Pat, you got to do I have an inventory system, and everything is skewed and stuff like that, but I wish there was a way, actually, you could go in and type in your SKU, and basically let's say I got one tote in front of me right now. It says February 10th, 2023. And a lot of times I try to use the SKU as the week or the day, and that just gives me an idea when I'm listing, or like how long has it been, or sometimes I may type in like Salvation, I might type in Salvo, and then the date, and okay, I got this stuff from the Salvation Army, and it was February the 12th, 2023. You know what I mean? But I wish there was a way to type in the SKU that would I know you could type in the SKU and see the listings, but I wish there was a way that you could share with an Excel spreadsheet where I literally could type in February 10th, 2023, that's the tote, the SKU, and it would basically show me, okay, you got 15 items in here, and this is exactly what's in here. You got a pair of pants, you got a CD, you got a watch, you got a Christmas ornament, and boom. And you could type in every tote, boom, there it is. And I mean, I know you could type in the SKU and it will show you manually, like, and then you would go on, but literally, like, the whole there is probably a little bit of a way, but it's not as clean cut as what I'm thinking. Because then what I would do is I would go in and I would be like, oh, wait a minute. We have an item in here that is not listed in that box. And, it's too bad you couldn't click a button where you would click add to SKU. And you would add that item. Or you come across something. I'm sure there's I mean, I don't know if there's developers out there with eBay. But, one thing that I find, and as I'm thinking about this now, is wanting to sell on Facebook. Oh my God, for a business, they make it so complicated as far as, my social media page, Patdees the Traveling Picker, or the traveling picker Patdees, whatever which way I have it on either Instagram or Facebook, well, legally that's not the business name. There is a business name, and and PayPal goes through that, and obviously you got to provide your social security. But you can, when you're using in a sense like Mr. Beast, his business is probably Mr. Beast, but his real name is Jimmy, and if he sells as Mr. Then he's got to provide. I don't have the business set up as far as that using the traveling picker Patdees. I have it as an LLC that I set up before I even kind of came up with the channel name and stuff like that. So I wish there was things to make things a little bit more easier. And I know myself, I still have a lot of room to work on. I was up to about 4 o'clock this morning, down, even condensing more stuff together, looking for 2 items. And it's hard when you got to, and I know a lot of people have this issue. They call it their death pile, or they have an area that they really don't know where to, where do I go with the stuff? Because what they really need to do is have a clean room where they can, okay, list this stuff, boom, go into there. And a lot of people just have an area where they have stuff stored, and they have to put it back there, but they have to put it back. They have to kind of bring it in, list it, put it back, and not get it mixed up with stuff that's not listed. And then you start moving things around, and that becomes a nightmare. So I'm still going to list every day. I don't make, I'm only probably doing one of these videos a month. I try to do videos, and I'm going to talk. I did buy 2 pallets, actually. 3 pallets. I bought 3 pallets about 6-7 weeks ago. That was the last ones I bought, and I haven't recorded nothing. The stuff is actually still sitting in the garage, and I want to start the series Flip to a Van. I'm looking to get a van where that stuff was basically earmarked, that I would buy that stuff and use that as a down payment on the van. And just with weather and issues, not feeling well, and my son, just life been happening, and still wanting to list every day and ship every day. Going back to that 353 items right now as I'm recording this video, you say, okay, let's put that in perspective. 353 items. Now this is only eBay I'm talking about. Now keep in mind, divided by 73 days, that's 5 items a day. So is that a lot? No, not really. You'll what happens is on Saturday and Sunday, so like Monday morning, I'll ship out 40 to 70 items. Amazon, and I have to include Amazon as far as the total amount because those are part of something, and that's even the struggle there, is trying to keep that stuff separate. Is that that's part of what I got to do, and when you think about those 353 items or 295 buyers, you're talking then, that's 295 packages, boxes, boxes, or bubble mailers. That's what the man's trying to say. And so it's a lot. I'm looking up my Amazon here as far as how many items, because I do 99% FBM anymore because of the disc. It doesn't make sense to store it there. You make more on average on especially the smaller items, those items that are under $15. The internet figures while I'm recording, it's pulling up slow. I think I looked the other night. Hold on, folks. Yeah, it's acting up. Okay, here we go. Let's try again. If you guys have watched this far, and do me a favor, you comment or just click the like button, I'd greatly appreciate it. So I do want to do more videos when the weather breaks. I was gonna, I'm gonna be going to auctions and finding some unique things. I like the storiest stuff. I always have. It's not pulling up. Let me pull it up on my phone. Well, it's good that I go back and I watch this before I upload, because, yeah, for some strange reason it got cut off there, and we had a problem with the internet, so I don't know. But I was saying, I looked it up. I was able to look it up, and it was 800 and roughly 53 items in the past 73 days between Amazon and eBay. Now, the 4,000 listings that I'm talking about is just listed on eBay. But as I was talking about, as part of my job is having to ship out things, that takes time, and that takes space, and so there's issues to be involved with that. So I do appreciate you guys taking the time to hear me out, and stay positive and keep listing. Because no matter what, people are still going to buy things. Maybe they're not buying the same things, but send out offers. I have offers every day I send out. Create coupons, and be competitive as far as on your prices. I don't say give the stuff away, but don't overprice things that are just way out of whack and then wonder why the stuff is sitting there. You should know what you paid for stuff. I do. So, all right, I usually do about one of these a month, and I'll see you again. Thank you, Patdees.